Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas thinks social media companies do not have the right to ban protected speech. He also wrote that Section 230, which protects the companies from being liable for what is posted on their platforms, may be unconstitutional, and maybe Congress should change it. So joining us now, special treat, great friend, former FCC Chairman Ajit Pai. Ajit, as always, thanks for coming on. I want to talk to you about 5 or 10 things this evening, but let me just start with the Clarence Thomas. I mean, Clarence was actually pretty clear about this, that they do not have any sort of First Amendment freedom, to cancel speech, to take speech off, and so forth. As a former FCC chair, what you think?
Well, it's an interesting concurring opinion that he wrote. As you know, the Court of Appeals in New York said essentially that legal issues surrounding President Trump's Twitter account involved a public forum. And because President Trump is no longer president, the Supreme Court essentially said we're going to get rid of this appeal. But what Justice Thomas said was, to the extent it is a public forum, then how do we think about the First Amendment and statutory considerations when it comes to Twitter or other digital platforms? So it's a very interesting legal question. I don't think the Supreme Court had an appetite for confronting that question here, but I think it involves a general question that a lot of people are debating is, how should we think about these digital platforms? Are they common carriers, as Justice Thomas seemed to suggest they are, or are they simply private actors that should be free to do what they want within certain constraints of antitrust and other competition laws?
Have you opined on this, Ajit? I don't recall. Have you opined on whether to amend Section 230, reform it, keep it, or not keep it?
Well, what I said when I was in office at the FCC is that the FCC had the authority to look at Section 230, whether or not there should be any changed interpretation to that section, which does fall under the Communications Act. We didn't ultimately move forward with that notice of proposed rulemaking, but now what you see is President Biden has explicitly campaigned on repealing Section 230. You see Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill vigorously debating how it should be revised. So obviously the political actors have taken a great interest in this, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Yeah,
probably change is coming. Let me go to other subjects. As a great FCC chair who get the ball moving on 5G and other related matters, there's about $100 billion in round numbers that this so-called infrastructure bill, which is at less than 20% infrastructure, but broadband is one of them. They want to put $100 billion into broadband. I wanted to get your take on it because, as you know, really broadband, 5G, all the telecoms, it's private. It's not federal, public, it's private. It's AT&T and Verizon and lots of others. Is $100 billion a useful thing to do? Could the private companies do it themselves and save the taxpayers a dime?
Well, let me start with an area of conceptual agreement, at least for me, and that is that I do think that broadband constitutes infrastructure. As you know, Larry, during our time in office, what we tried to do is close that digital divide, make sure that as many Americans as possible were able to benefit from these technologies, and that private sector companies have the maximum incentive to innovate and invest. But we recognize that there are parts of the country where private capital won't be sufficient, typically rural areas and lower income areas. So I do think that there is a role for the federal government to play here. But the concerns I have with the current plan are, number one, where did the $100 billion figure come from and what will it be spent on? For example, there have been estimates that there are about 5 to 10 million Americans who don't have broadband now. They could be covered with less than $100 billion. So where would that additional money be spent? If it's going to be spent overbuilding with public funds, private companies' infrastructure, that could be a problem. Number two, in terms of how it's going to operate, the fact sheet they put out suggests that they conceive municipal, essentially city-owned broadband networks. How would that operate? There's been a mixed track record on that front in terms of cost and effectiveness. And the final thing I'll simply point out is that when you're talking about all of these broadband infrastructure plans, the question becomes, how do you regulate them? Yeah. And here, the Biden infrastructure fact sheet suggests price regulation, which would be a red line for a lot of different players.
All right. Ajit Pai, got to jump. Always running out of time. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it very much.